Hi, welcome back to the channel, TrainStation 2. Alright, I'm prepared for the third competition. Filled up all my warehouse with the event items. Of course, fill up all the 7 factories, including the event 1 EP hit starts as well. And of course, I'm going to remind you, it's very important. You got to do this ship trade in order to continuously get your blue maps for your building upgrades. Alright, so building upgrades, as usual, you got to understand the 5 building technique, which I always highlight in my video. Importance of building your population, hence increasing your warehouse spacing. With the continuous effort of upgrading all the buildings, I've increased my population from about 2,000 to now about 10,000. But nonetheless, I still felt that I'm way behind my competitors, given the fact I've seen some competitors, their populations like 30,000. If that's the case, their warehouse will be so much larger, and of course with that it must be easier for them in order to increase the speed of their delivery, given the fact that you do not need to basically grab raw materials, make them, and then eventually deliver. So that's the importance of warehousing. As I mentioned, given my small warehousing, the only method I'm using is to use my factory's input and output tray as interim warehousing. So that being said, basically you're going to be wise in choosing items to put in the input tray. For example, a sofa will contain 3 materials, and once you so-called call back the sofa request, you have 3 raw materials back. Alright, so the importance of having your factories done, which is your steel factory, flour factory, gasoline factory, all this will help you in competitions. So I'm quite lucky so far in the last 2 competition, managed to get first. I've struck out about 700 event coins. We'll need another 300 more, given the fact that we'll need it for the legendary train that requires 1000 event coins. That being said, I'm quite happy with the progress so far, especially with the bonus that the developer is giving from some of the jobs. But I do understand that the frustration once you have completed 20 sets of that job, the new round, which is the recycled round 2, 1/20, the items that requested is so huge that sometimes we wouldn't be able to do it within that 3-hour time band for the bonus. But really, I mean, the only way is not to activate it unless you are prepared for it, which means that you're going to have all the event items ready before you click on activate button. Alright, so that's one way to do it. And another way to do it is really, if you really want to get it, you're going to measure in terms if the rewards will help you gain progress in the ranking for the last moment. Then probably you may need to spend some gems. Okay, so that's generally how it worked for the bonus. As for now, I'm just trying my best to save up gems by collecting gem by gem, by watching those video. Every single video sometimes just give you 1 gem, and it doesn't really always happen. So preparation for the third competition will also need you to have the 3 jobs ready. You got to keep on completing jobs until you reach a job that gave you very high EP, like 40 plus to 50 plus. Then you should then keep all these 3 jobs. If you have so-called not completed the purple job, i.e. the bonus job, you may even keep the completed purple job plus the bonus that give extra EP, so that will give you a very good head start when you embark into the third competition itself. So that's it for me. I couldn't do it. I don't have the sufficient item at the juncture, and I missed that 3-hour time. So my bonus has expired. Otherwise, I may have easily another 50 or 60 EP as a good head start. Alright, so that's it. The strategy now is really, how do I get the last first before we can claim this legendary train? It is something that I really need to ponder. Starting late is for sure, but then the question is, how late should we start? The fact that do remember this, I mean, generally you can start late between 6 to 12 hours. That's it. Noting the fact that this event is a bit strange now. Normally in the previous events they will have a long competition of 3 days followed by 2 days and then back to 3 days. But I noticed this competition itself, it has been 2-3 days already, so I suspect the next one will be a 3 days as well. That said, I also noted that you must have at least 36 hours before the end of the event to qualify, which means that you shouldn't be starting, assuming we have 3 full days. That will give you 72 hours, so you shouldn't be starting more than 36 hours. Okay, once you start more than 36 hours late, you'll be disqualified from entering. I've experienced that before in the Japanese event when I tried to test out the system, and I realized that works. Okay, so you could probably start more than 12 hours, but definitely not more than 36 hours. Okay, that's about starting late. Then I mentioned about the EP head start already. I got to make sure my factories are filled to the brim, like I'm still working on. You can see right now. I've collected a lot of those polymer and aluminum because they will be made into containers, and of course the circuit boards eventually make into appliances, furnitures and whatnot, right? So I'm going to store really a lot of those items, because otherwise your factory shouldn't be storing your normal day-to-day items in a core factory like meals and whatnot. So I'm going to clear up your warehouse space, replace it with event items. That's important, because in the whole event itself, you realize many times they only be asking event items rather than your day-to-day core factories items. I noticed some of the friends in YouTube did mention that or asked me why, how do I get about the factory upgrade. You really got to save gems. Like I said, watching video one by one, give you one gem at a time. Sometimes if you're an Android player, that'll be easy, because Android players benefit from the fact that you can play other games, and that would be rewarded with gems in TrainStation 2. Unfortunately for Apple player, we do not have that benefit. Our gems comes from surveys, so we can do some surveys. Under the surveys itself, we may earn 2 gems per survey, so that's quite bad in terms of return, because it's a waste of time. Every time you just click on the survey, you need to probably need a few minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, and then you give your reward like 2 gems. So that's quite slow, and also the fact that some survey you may not be qualified. It is really unfortunate. I don't know why there's a disparity. So as Apple players, you will definitely lose out to Android players, that's for sure. The way about how do you want to beat the system, like I said, start late, EP head start. You got to have event items in a warehouse. You have to have your 6 factories filled to the brim, input and output tray. And of course, that's it. More importantly, you got to increase your population so as to increase your warehouse. And last, you really have to upgrade your trains. Upgrade your trains capacity. That's very important. And also, if you could, try not to dismantle any rare trains and above in your region, even though they are duplicates, because sometimes, who knows, if you're hit by a triple restriction, or like for example region 5, the type of trains would be rare and they require steam. So if you do not have a rare steam in region 5, you'll be running with assuming 2 trains, and that would be terrible. So you really got to think twice how you want to go about doing that, because for me, I'm not going to dismantle those trains, because at the end of the day, what you get maybe some parts which you can actually easily get it from events or mini events itself. Okay, so try not to dismantle trains are not easy to come by. Lastly, I think we really got to work at your own pace in terms of the deliveries. What do I mean by that is that when you have 3 customers, sometimes you know that your trains are very tiny in capacity. Assuming you only ask for common trains and your capacity is 4, where you have some huge one that is out already, then you should switch and focus on other jobs instead of sending the common train with 4 capacity, and that's a waste of another hour. So you could simultaneously do a few deliveries or 3 customers. Okay, so that's the way you can speed out your resources, and rather than just focusing on one. But my general rule is to focus on one if you really have good trains. Alright, coming towards the end of this video already. I hope you good luck in the third competition. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.